All right, let's just dive right in. The title for today's breakdown is, well, it's a tough one to swallow. Why your friends might be keeping you poor. I know, it's a really provocative idea, but it forces us to look at this powerful and, honestly, often invisible truth. The people we choose to surround ourselves with have a massive impact on our success.
And it all starts with this kind of counterintuitive twist. We often think we're shaped by our heroes, right? The people we look up to from a distance. But the reality, it's much, much closer to home. We are molded by the people we see every single day, the ones whose approval we are subconsciously looking for. And that distinction, that's absolutely critical.
And this leads us to the central and, unsettling idea of this whole thing. The people in your inner circle, they aren't just passive companions along for the ride. No way. They are actively shaping your future, either pushing you forward or dragging you back. Every single interaction has a net effect.
So, how does this invisible shaping actually happen? Well, it all comes down to what you could call the power of proximity. Just think of it like a kind of social gravity, constantly, silently pulling you toward the average of the group that you're in.
There's actually a technical term for this, your reference group. And this isn't just your friends in general, okay? It's the specific people you spend the most time with. Their habits, their mindset, what they expect out of life, all of it. It subconsciously becomes your own.
And this is probably the most startling part of all. Your reference group isn't just a factor in your success. It is the #1 predictor. I'm serious. More than your education, more than your raw talent or your background, who you choose to be around is the single greatest indicator of where you are going to end up.
Okay, so if our social circle is that important, what do we do about it? How do we even evaluate it? Well, that brings us to our next section, the success audit. It's a really simple test to see who's helping you and who's hurting you.
Answering this question means we have to do something that's actually pretty difficult. We have to look at our relationships through a completely objective lens. You have to move past all those feelings of loyalty and history just to see the real impact people are having on your life's path.
And here's the tool to do it, the probability test. It is incredibly simple, but it is so powerful. For each person in your inner circle, you just ask one direct question. Does spending time with this person increase or decrease the probability that I will achieve my goals? That's it. There's no middle ground. The answer just cuts through all the excuses and shows you the truth.
The results of that test, they're going to help you sort people into one of two groups. Are they an anchor or are they a motor? This metaphor, it just perfectly captures the role each person is playing in your life.
And this right here illustrates the difference perfectly. Look, anchors pull you back. Motors push you forward. Anchors are constantly focused on the past, on gossip, on complaining, on old dramas. Motors, they're focused on the future, on possibilities, on growth. Anchors drain your energy. Motors fuel your ambition. You know exactly who these people are in your life the second you see it laid out like this. And you know what? Here is the absolute simplest way to tell the difference. Just listen. Listen to your conversations. Are they all about old stories, past mistakes, and how things used to be? Or are they about new ideas, future plans, and what could be? That one little distinction, it reveals almost everything.
So, once you've done the audit, you're faced with a choice. And this is the moment. This is the moment you stop letting your social life happen by accident and you start intentionally designing the group of people who are going to shape your future.
And this, right here, leads to the most difficult piece of advice in this entire breakdown. The conclusion is simple, but man, it is not easy. If someone is consistently an anchor, if they are decreasing the probability of you achieving your goals, you have to cut them from your inner circle.
So why such drastic advice? Why does this matter so much? Because your potential is literally on the line. You truly are the average of the people you spend the most time with. It's not just a cliche. And that's why consciously designing your circle isn't just social planning. It's the very act of designing your future self.
But let's end this with a bit of a reframe. Because maybe, just maybe, the most important question isn't about the negative act of who you need to cut. Perhaps the truly powerful question is this: who are your motors? Who are the people that energize you, that believe in your future? And how can you spend more of your time with them? That is the choice that will truly define where you go from here.